Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Whatever the I Want podcast, where I, your host, Gabby, gets to talk about whatever the I want. And today's episode is going to be a chill yap session, like just vibe with me, like let's hang out type of episode. So I basically woke up with my period this morning and I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to go to the gym. I kind of just want to spend the day like pouring into myself and just relaxing. So like started off my day with a hot shower, put a load of laundry to go, did my work for the artist way, listened to a couple like spiritual gurus on YouTube. There's a couple that I like that give like advice on like manifesting and like loving yourself and things like that, which is like all that I'm about, you know? And then this morning I also drew this. I've been seeing cardinals a lot, so I drew that. It's been really beautiful where I'll just like walk out in the morning and then I'll just see a cardinal and I'm like, what the heck? Like how beautiful. So I figured why not just chat with y'all while I draw. I've never done something like this before. Let me just date this because I like to date everything. So kind of whenever I figure out what I want to draw, it's just, especially whenever I'm like sketching and doing like kind of like that watercolor vibe, it's like, I feel like that's whenever I'm able to just flow the most. And I remember, of course, like in the artist way, they talk about this, like you're going to find people who resist towards you being creative. And I was showing, somebody my sketchbook and they're like, why is it all watercolor? And it's so crazy because I'm not the biggest fan of watercolor in general. Like no offense to people who have these, but like, I'm not a big fan of like watercolor tattoos. Like I think watercolor paintings are cool, but it's just not something that I've ever like, I guess like identified with in terms of like style. And it's interesting that whenever it comes to me just allowing things to flow to the page, it kind of ends up looking like watercolor, which is like insane that that's just where things feel the most natural to me. I had to keep trying to hide my phone because like whenever I see it, like I feel the need to grab it. I've mentioned this before, but like I have to like literally hide my phone for myself. And then I'll be like throwing the pillows off of the bed and stuff. I'm like, I can't find my phone, but it's because I like hid it from myself. So normally what I'll do is I'll go to Pinterest or like I'll ask somebody for like a random animal and then I'll look at a picture and then from there draw. So like I drew this cardinal just freehanded looking at a picture. So let's see what I can think of. I have more trouble with like leopards and like the first thought that came to my head right now was like a lemur. But I just get in my head about like drawing things that I've never drawn before, which that was my first time ever drawing a cardinal as far as I'm aware. Okay. I mean, I can try this. I'm not promising anything. I'm just doing this as like an exercise to like hang out with y'all. And also like, I guess like quote unquote, like killing two birds with one stone, being able to like sit here and to draw and to also, like film the episode for Monday because it is Friday. And, I was going to film yesterday and one thing or another happened. I think I ended up getting hungry or I just ended up like leaving the gym. I think that's what ended up happening. I got hungry and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go home. And like, I was like getting tired. And truthfully, I stayed up late last night. I stayed up late reading Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I read the trilogy out of order, not knowing that it was a trilogy. And I started off with Yours Truly, and then I don't remember what the other one is called. And then I read Part of Your World, and my book was coming up on Libby. Like my loan was expiring, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta finish it because it expires tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, I really gotta finish it." But even though like the book had me hooked, like I'd be on the bike because I have been going on the bike for cardio instead of like the treadmill because the treadmill will it's just so hard to sit there or like to read and you're like hunched over. It's just not a comfortable position to be reading in. So I just told myself like, okay, like I'm just going to go on the bike and that should just be, more comfortable for me. And I've like tried this staircase, whatever, Stairmaster, but it's just not the most comfortable for me. and I'll be like dying, like even in like 15 minutes. Honestly, the first 5 minutes, I built like some type of stamina around it now, but like it's just not for me. I haven't built the stamina enough for it. So like the bike is nice because then I can just like sit and my legs do all the work and I can just read comfortably, because that's like the biggest thing is I want to be able to read comfortably. The last thing I want to do is just be here like, oh my gosh, my back hurts, or like, why am I like this, or like, you know, it just doesn't feel right. You know what I should have done is sketched this head more, because right now I'm like, I was already like adding in some darker colors when I didn't even do like a little bit of a rough sketch. And it's all just like with colored pencils. I'm already hating it. I'm like, fuck, because I made some parts too big and too small. It's okay. Perfection does not exist. She reminds herself that. And I also don't draw talking to people, so I feel like that is like a big challenge in and of itself, because I'm like, how am I able to focus on both? This looks terrifying. This looks like, it's gonna sound terrible, like a freaking crack addict lemur. Like I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Its eyes are like, please. So yeah, I mean, I stayed up late last night and it was hard to kind of get out of bed. I did do like my morning meditation, which is crazy because I put on this guy who I just like randomly found, and he has like morning meditations. I do listen to another guy for night meditations, depending on my mood, or I'll listen to healing I'll listen to healing frequencies, all that stuff. I typically have like meditation songs on in the background. Like, it's just something that's like very relaxing for me, especially like whenever I shower and things like that. It's just really cozy for me. And so like, I think that it's so important to like cultivate your space for you. And so, you know, like I start off my mornings like lighting incense or Palo Santo, and I'll like cleanse my space. And that's just something that just feels good for me. And so like, I think we need to spend more time doing things for ourselves, because more often than not, we just kind of just like jump into our routines without really having any intentions behind our day. And that's not saying that like, you know, you can't still, you know, have a great day without setting the intention of having a great day. But I think it just sets off the tone the right way whenever you can just sit there and like, you know, say like, I'm going to have a great day today. It's going to be awesome. And I'm going to have fun and I'm going to make the most of it. And so I really enjoy spending my time doing just that, like just pouring into myself, because, you know, I don't really interact with like a lot of people on the daily. It's really just my partner and I that I interact with. This shit looks crazy. But, you know, I still like absorb people's energies. Like, I don't know if y'all feel that way too, but like whenever I'm around people, or like, you know, when I'm at the gym, like I do get people looking at me and stuff like that. And I'm always like, are they looking at me because I'm like one of the only people of color in here? Are they, you know, like I'll get in my head. And so like, I try to like cleanse my space and my thought process before I even like leave the house. Because the last thing I want to do is like be caught in my head, like overthinking or just like worrying about things. And so yeah, that's just something that I really enjoy doing. So I'm not sure what y'all enjoy. And today I made myself a cup of tea. I haven't had tea in a while. I've been telling myself like, Gabby, make a cup of tea. And then I just don't end up doing it. Like I haven't even had matcha or anything in like weeks. Maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks, but it feels like it's been a long time. Actually I had a sip of somebody's matcha last Saturday. So it's been a week. But they chug that shit. Why do men chug their drinks? Like women can sit here and enjoy like boba or whatever, and we're like, oh my gosh, like we can still have our drink for a while, but men just like chug that shit in like one sitting. Why? Like why don't they sit and savor things? Like even my dad will like eat food so fast, and it's like, why are you not sitting here and enjoying the meal? Like why are you, no one's gonna take it from you. And so sometimes he'll say like, oh, maybe it's just because of how I was raised, you know, like we didn't really have much, and so like you just kind of were just so hungry, so you just like sat and ate. Okay, the tail I don't hate. The rest of it we just trust in the process, you know what I'm saying? So I've been thinking a lot lately about how it's going to be Earth Day next week. And I guess by the time you're listening to this, it'll be Earth Day in a couple days. And y'all, we need to spend more time caring about the environment and just caring about the people around us and like our communities, because especially at a time like this where there's just like, it's just a really rough political climate. We need to just spend more time divulging in the things that bring us joy and just spreading more love and more peace to everyone around us. Like, I will never for the life of me understand how people can like spread hate or just be so like hurtful. And, you know, to anybody who was affected by trigger warning, the mass shooting at FSU, like my heart, it goes out to you. Like, I mean, I think anybody can just see themselves in just, you know, students on campus, like, you know, and I visited FSU's campus a lot of times and, you know, gone there for nice events to hang out with sorority sisters and stuff. And so like my heart just breaks because, I mean, how many times have we failed kids with the fact that we've failed elementary schoolers? We continuously fail just the youth. We continuously fail just our people. It's so upsetting. And I try to not, you know, think about it too much, but obviously like you can't necessarily like ignore your reality for too long because it's like, this is the reality of it all. And so my heart just goes out to anybody who's affected by any of this, you know. My heart is with you and like, you're not alone. And yeah, so we need to care about the planet, y'all. So I'm actually almost done. I think I probably have like maybe a couple weeks left with my shampoo and conditioner. And then I will be making the switch over to something that is just more eco-friendly. I actually made my own laundry detergent the other day. And I've been really enjoying it. And I was really worried because my boyfriend's very picky about like how laundry needs to smell a certain way or whatever. And he was like, oh no, I actually really like it. And I was like, oh wow. Like we got him to be happy about that. Because he was like, I don't know how I feel about all this eco stuff, whatever. Just because people assume like people who are eco cautious are like stinky or whatever. And so, you know, he was like, I'll just buy my own detergent if I don't like it. And I'm like, that's fine. I don't care. And he was like, no, I actually really like it. And it has like ingredients like baking soda, borax, laundry soda, which I didn't even know what laundry soda was. And then like essential oils. And then you can use like your favorite, what is it called? Like laundry bar soap. And so I use like sote because that's like something that my mom like loves sote. So I used that. And so yeah, it's just been cool to kind of like make something on my own. I also did make some banana chocolate chip bread. So I just really enjoy like baking and just doing things like myself. Like I have been making my own syrups for my matcha. And it's just really nice to know that you have kind of control over something. Because I just feel like as a consumer, you don't really have a control over a lot of things. Like I was listening to a podcast by NPR and it was, I think it's called Baseline. And they just go through just like the history of things. And they were talking about the history of recycling. And I didn't finish the entire episode because I was like, I want to do one completely focused on it on this podcast. But I'll just give you like what I have so far. And it was just, so basically recycling was introduced. Well, first of all, the concept of trash didn't exist because back in the day, everything was entirely reused, you know, like plastic didn't exist. So everybody used glass bottles and things were reused. And so, you know, like the milkman would come by and would, you know, replace your milk. You know, you'd leave it on your doorstep, your glass bottles, and they'd come there and then they'd, you know, switch them out. And so trash didn't exist. And so they basically had to create trash and like tell people like this is a one-time use glass bottle. And what was happening was people didn't have trash bins, they didn't have trash cans, they didn't know how to throw away trash, so they're just throwing stuff on the side of the road. And that's kind of like how litter was created. And so litter, what was happening was people were just throwing glass bottles out their window, and then they were going into like cow pastures, and then these cows were like eating glass. And so then they were like, okay, no, you can't just be throwing your glass like or trash outside. Like we need to create, you know, a way for you to collect your trash. And so then that's how that started happening and existing. And it's just like so crazy to think about, like, damn, like trash wasn't a thing. Like, it's hard to imagine, right? Like what would life be like without trash, you know? And like, we just think about how everything essentially is single use. You don't really reuse anything anymore. I recently finished like the pickles that I had, and I've made them myself. And so I had like a store-bought thing, and so like I washed it out, and same thing, I bought like a pasta sauce, and so then I'm keeping all those glass jars, and I, you know, have been pickling things, you know, and I really don't buy pasta sauce like that. My mom makes it from scratch, so like I just need to hop on the train, but you know, sometimes we have our days. And so I basically whatchamacallit, cleaned out those bottles, and now I have them, and I have pickled onions. I've pickled ginger. Pickled ginger's fire. And so I've also been considering making my own kombucha, because I love kombucha. Like, if I could drink kombucha every day, I would. And so I found a couple people like on Marketplace, like near me, that have like scobies. And so a SCOBY is basically the live like organism, the mother of the kombucha, and it has like all of it's like the microbiome. And so, yeah, I've like found people near me who some people sell them, scobies, or some people just like give them away, because like basically once you bottle your kombucha for so long, basically the SCOBY continues to grow. And then, so it's kind of like, almost like, think of it like propagating, like you're kind of like propagating a SCOBY. And so then you can give it to people. And so it's just been really cool to like think about, and to like see that, you know, I could potentially bottle my own kombucha. And so I have kept all my glass kombucha bottles, not all of them. So let me rephrase that. I have kept, once I had this idea, I have been keeping the glass kombucha bottles that I've had. And lately what I was doing is, since I don't buy plastic water bottles, I just fill up those glass water bottles. So that way, whenever I'm on the run, or like if I have guests and they want to take water, they can take a glass water bottle with them versus like a plastic one, which hopefully they reuse them. I mean, that I can't entirely control whether or not they do. But yeah, so I have several glass kombucha bottles that I essentially use as reusable water bottles. And I just mention all this just because, like, really, you know, they try to convince you that like one person can't make a difference. And we all know that that's not true, but we obviously all also understand that change happens like faster in bigger numbers. And so, oh my gosh, I've been getting so emotional. So there's people near us who are protesting because the local union hired non-union workers to basically demolish a building. And so outside you'll see like a lot of them are Hispanics, just like protesting the fact that they are working for this union, and the union decided to not hire them for these jobs and instead contract other people who are not even a part of the union, which is totally fucked up. And I get so I have to drive by them every single time I go to the gym, and I get so freaking emotional because, I mean, my heart goes out to like just people in general. Like, I'll literally have to sit in the parking lot at the gym and like cry before I go in, because I can't, like, it's just like a weight on me, and it just feels so heavy. Like, being an empath, like, it really does affect you. And so, you know, I'll sit there and I'll pray for them and pray that they get, you know, I'm not sure what needs. I haven't done research on like what it is, like if they have any needs that aren't being met or anything like that. But, you know, I'll pray and like put good energy to them of like, I hope that their needs get met, and I hope that they get hired for these jobs, because they are employees of these unions, and they're not, you know, being treated fairly at the very least from what I can see, and not being given the opportunities that they should be getting. And so it really just like makes me super emotional, like just thinking about that. On another note, today I will be going to see Sinners with my friends and my partner. And I am not a horror movie kind of girl. I'm not a horror anything kind of girl. Like, even with Demon Slayer, like, I haven't even entirely finished it. And the first time I ever tried watching it, I could not get past like the first couple minutes because of all the blood. And I was like, fuck, I can't do this. Because basically with me, like if I see something super gory or just like a situation happen, my bones will physically start to hurt. And I remember mentioning that once to somebody, and she was like, oh my gosh, I think you have this one condition. And I mentioned it to another friend recently, and I think it's like synesthesia. It's like a different version of it. There's many variations of it, and it's basically a variation of where like whenever you see something physically happen or something happen to somebody, you feel the pain. And it's exactly how I feel. I remember like if I watch a movie and somebody's like, this is me very dramatic, but like somebody's body part gets severed, like mine will physically start hurting. Like say it's their arm or whatever, my arm will start hurting. I remember watching the last song with Miley Cyrus. I sobbed. I mean, I was like yelping, sobbing, like like uncontrollably, like could not breathe. Like I'm going to die of a heartbreak because of that film. Like there's just, I don't know if I just feel just so intensely that I can feel people's like emotional pain, people's happiness. Like same thing at weddings. Like when I go to weddings and, you know, I like will sit there and like cry as if it's my vows and like this love that I'm experiencing. And so I think it applies to like any capacity of emotion, like at least in terms of like with me. I'm not sure if anybody else has felt this way. And if you do, like, please let me know so that I know that I'm not entirely alone here. But yeah, I mean, that's, so basically we're going to go watch this horror movie, and I had to like look up the like, parental guidance thing because I'm not a fan of like horror, but you know, I'm like, oh, Michael B. Jordan. Like I did watch the previews and it did seem more of like a thriller, but whenever the rating came out, it's like, no, it's horror. And I'm like, fuck, like a thriller I can like tolerate. You know, it's like, it's horror where I have problems, you know? Like I remember I accidentally watched, I don't think it was Get Out, but it was the other one that, what is the name of, let me look it up while I'm here. The other Jordan Peele movie. Gosh, it's with Lupita, Jordan Peele movies. Something with, it was Nope. Oh my God, dude. I watched Nope before bed, not knowing it said thriller. And I'm like, oh, thriller. I can do thriller. Cause my boyfriend loves like horror movies, you know? So I'm like, I can do thriller. I'll do thriller. I can handle that. Bitch, it was not a thriller. Why would it say that? I was like, oh my God, this is fucking scary. Like I had to close my eyes for so much of it. I'm like, this shit is fucking, even thinking about it now, I'm like, bro, I need to pray before I go to bed because that shit was scary. I had nightmares and like, I'm grown, I'm big, you know, like that shit affects me, you know? So like, just kind of crazy to think about that. Like, I'm just that much of a feeler that like that shit will affect me. Like, I don't care. Like, I remember, you know, my brothers and stuff like, yeah, you're such a baby, Gabby, grow up, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you don't understand what I'm feeling. You don't get it. Like this actually physically hurts watching this. And so it does say that it does have some jump scares. So pray for me, y'all. I am going to try my best to like, you know, handle it all. It's not something that I, you know, and I chose to go, you know, I had to sit there and think about it, you know, but I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to learn how to see things as like, from like an artistic perspective, you know, cause like, I mean, I'm shutting myself off from like a whole genre of things. And I mean, granted, obviously like in Demon Slayer, I've opened up, I've been more receptive to it over the years. Like now I'm able to like sit and watch, not all the episodes because like, man, freaking the scene with like Daki's brother, and he's just so like, I mean, he does self-harm and stuff. Like that's physically painful for me to watch. I have to like turn around and like cover my eyes and cover my ears, and I'm like I can't because I can feel his pain, and I'm like, why is he like scratching his face? And it's too much for me. Like I can't. So I have to like take things in doses, and I truthfully haven't watched an episode in maybe like 2 months. And I know that I need to just like finish it because the plot is good, and it throws me off whenever there's like, you know, people who make things gory and the plot is good, like freaking The Boys. Like The Boys plot is amazing, the gore is insane. Come on guys, what about us babies? What about us people who feel all of these things happening? Like other people, this thing getting severed, this thing getting chopped off, cool, they like that. No, for me it's like, ouchies, my arm hurts now and it is throbbing. And so I don't know, I think I've become like, I think the more that I kind of expose myself to it, I've become like a little like desensitized. But I mean, not entirely, because I'll sit there and I'm like, I can handle this more than I ever could before, but this shit fucking hurts. And so I have to like my wrist will start hurting, my hands will start hurting. It's just a really crazy experience. I don't know if any of y'all have ever felt that way. Kind of think about it like whenever you see your mom cry, you know how like if you ever have seen your mom cry, like I immediately turn into like a puddle of water if I see my mom cry. Same thing happens with my sister, my grandma, literally anybody in my family that I ever see cry, I will get really emotional. And so I don't know if it's just a part of just like, it's just love, or if it's just like, you know, you just have really, really big feelings, and maybe that's what it is. But yeah, bro, that shit sucks. So sucking it up, gonna go watch me a horror movie. I'm like, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna have to be like so cozy, because I remember I watched The Grudge when I was a teenager. I was maybe like 12, and I think it was like my little friend's like 12th birthday party. And keep in mind, this is like one of the only birthday parties I got to go to as a kid, and that was just because her tia's house literally lived like 2 streets away from my parents. And I remember I even had to leave early because my mama made me still go to church. She's like, your ass got church on Sunday. You got your catechism. So I literally had to wake up so early compared to everybody else. They all got to sleep in and stuff. But anywho, we got McDonald's and we went to watch The Grudge. And this was me like the whole movie. I'm like, why? I was mostly just with my eyes covered, and anything scary I would just cover up my face. But also I do think that that's because my brothers were all like, Chucky this, Chucky that. Like just, they were just, I mean, and I know people who love horror. There's people who like truly love it. Like they love Halloween Horror Nights. They love going to get scared. They love that stuff. Not for me. It's just not for me. I messed up this thing here. I'm going to try to like make it look like it's not a mistake. Let's try to just like blend. Okay, that's kind of cool. Again, not perfect. I freehand in this. So if you hate it, why do you hate me? And you know, I'm just sitting here. I've never fucking drawn a lemur before, so we were learning together. I'm not even sure if you can hear like my scribbles and stuff, but you're like, Gabby, you're not even doing anything. Yeah, so I mean, that's just kind of what's all been on my brain lately. Sometimes these episodes kind of just feel like a brain dump, which is so nice. So thank y'all for sitting here and letting my brain just like alleviate itself, which is also a big reason of why like I love journaling and talking. I'm just a big talker, I'm not gonna lie. It's just, I love communicating. I really do. It's just like a way to connect with people. It's a way that I love to connect with people. It's a way that I feel, I'm not sure if I just said this, like connected to people. It just feels nice. It just feels like, you know, when people ask you like if you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be? I say to be able to know like every language, because it'd be just so cool to be able to connect with absolutely everybody if you wanted to. I just think that that's so fascinating, and I've been practicing my French more. So I need to hop back on my Spanish train, but I have been practicing my French more, and it's his nose that throws me off, but maybe it's just the picture that I chose, but it's a little too late because you got to use blacks. So the lines are kind of dark. Is he done? He might be done. You know, whenever you look at something and you're like, it's only going to get worse. Yeah, that's kind of how this feels. Actually, let me do some like dark strokes, and then we'll do the big reveal. Okay. And then maybe we'll start doing this segment more that way I can just practice drawing and like multitasking, because I'm definitely the type of person who I have to be like in my zone. Like whenever I'm drawing and stuff, like I like to just listen to meditation sounds, and I like to just, I don't know, kind of like replicate. And they say that like in the books that I read, like you got to create your environment. And so like I replicate my environment to help me be creative. And for me, that's meditation sounds, just like calming music. It's headphones. It's not talking to anybody. It's like nobody fucking talk to me. Phone on do not disturb. Like, okay, so basically we hit the 30-minute mark with the camera, so it just like stopped recording. But basically I was just going off on this tangent about how, you just have to create your space that helps you feel relaxed and just feel like open and receptive to new ideas. And for me, that's like having a hot shower and then sitting there and like creating and doing stuff, or going to the park and drawing and things like that. But I'm not really in the mood to particularly leave the house. I know I'll have to for the movie, but at least I'll get to be cozy. And low key, I kind of am hoping that it involves sushi or like poke bowls, because it is Friday, and for those practicing Catholics, you do not eat carne on Fridays, which I'm not a practicing Catholic, but basically the people around me are doing it, so subconsciously I've been doing it. So yeah, just putting in my colored pencils. Also, for like my personal channel, would you want to see some like ASMR content? Because like I love this mic, and I feel like maybe some ASMR content would be kind of cool on it. And then we like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I had a lot of fun in today's episode, and let's do more of these. Let's do more where we would just sit around and chat and just hang out. And we just draw. And I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just me letting out this creative energy. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed today's episode, if you're loving the podcast, leave it a 5-star review. Comment down below what's your favorite animal. That way we can have some ideas on what to draw next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.